I would like to direct this morning's Shiur, B'siyata Deshmaya, on something that's relevant for every Shabbos, and we'll see how it's connected to this week's Parsha. The Zemer that almost all of Kollel Yisrael sings Friday night before the Suda Sholom Aleichem. Though it's very interesting, seemingly we don't know who the mechaber of this song is, but the Makoyer, where did the words come from? The concept, Sholom Aleichem, Malachei, Hashoreis, that we're welcoming Malachim. We come on Friday night, and before the Suda, we say Sholom Aleichem, we're welcoming the Malachim. It's a Gemara. It's a Gemara in Shabbos. The Gemara says, Tanya, a Braiser, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, Shnei Malachei Hashoreis. There are two Malachim that walk us home from Shul. We have two Malachim Friday night. Gemara says Erev Shabbos that walk us home from Shul. Echad Toiv ve'echad Ra, a good Malach and a bad Malach. When the person comes home, if his house is prepared for Shabbos, the candles are lit, it's prepared, the table's set, the shulchan aruch, the table is prepared, then the Malach Toiv says, this should be like this the next Shabbos as well also. And if it's not like that, Balkorche says the Gemara, the Malach Ra says Amen. And if it's the opposite, that the house is not prepared, that the Malach Ra says Yirotza, and it should be like this the next week. And Balkorche, the Malach Toiv, says Amen. Al Kapanim, the Gemara says there are two Malachim that walk us home from Shul every Friday night. I was telling my daughter the topic that I'm going to speak about, so she wanted to know what happens if a person doesn't go to Shul. The Gemara says when you malava home from Shul, and my chavrusa actually, added and elaborated on this in the times of Chmana Litzlan of COVID, the people who are home. So the Malachim didn't come. It's interesting. The Gemara says the two Malachim malavan loy la'adam be'erev Shabbos, malavan loy from Mibeis HaKnesses, and if a person doesn't go, then the Malachim are not malava. We came out together. We said Lachayra means that Pshat is after a person davens and he's makabel Shabbos.
Yeah, the same shot the shul is in the person's house.
Yeah, very good. Also, yeah. So if a person more than the house means Pshat, if it's in a person's dining room, so he's not going anywhere. Yeah.
Well, that's a better Shabbos because he couldn't set up for Shabbos beforehand. So when you have a minion there.
Yeah, he's saying if you couldn't set, or if it's all set, then he's not going anywhere. They're not malava. But Al Kapanim, the Gemara says a brisa that the Malachim come with a person to the house Friday night. As I said, the Gemara. So that's the Zmiris that we sing Sholom Aleichem, Malachei Hashoreis. We're welcoming the Malachim to our house. Interesting, the Prisha, that's the Mechaber of the Sma, the Prisha says that the two Malachim are the Yetzer Toiv and the Yetzer Hara. And when a person follows the Yetzer Toiv, so Balkorche Yana Amen, which means when this is Tami Yisrael always, that once a person follows the Yetzer Toiv, it gets easier. And once, like he says, he follows the Yetzer Toiv and the Yetzer Hara is falling, he continues to fall. It gets easier. But Al Kapanim, that's the two Malachim that are Malavas. Good. So we understand that when we come home, Shalom Aleichem, we're welcoming Malachim. Very interesting. Within 2 minutes, we're already singing Tzeitzchem Lesholom. What's going on? We just welcomed the Malachim, and right afterwards we're sending them Tzeitzchem Lesholom. They just came, and now we're singing Tzeitzchem Lesholom. Like one of the Achroinim who asked us, Shaila says, what, are we embarrassed that the Malachim should stay with us by the Suda, that they're watching us eat? What's the Pshat Tzeitzchem Lesholom? We welcome them. How are we sending them? Why are we sending them so quickly? What's the Pshat? So, Mikoyach Hai Kushya, the Tosfos Shabbos, one of the Achroinim, Pirush on Shulchan Aruch says, he brings that there was a Gadol Echad, Mikoyach Hai Kushya, Taka didn't say Tzeitzchem Lesholom. And he's maskim. He's maskim at such a kasha. How do you say Tzeitzchem Lesholom? Taka didn't say Tzeitzchem Lesholom. The Chida as well also, I'm sorry, the Maram Ash, a Talmud of the Chassam Sofer, also Mekoyach Hai Kashya, says you don't say it. And that's taka minig by a chelik of Klal Yisrael. The Divrei Chaim, Apir Divrei Chaim, these chelik, these the are from the Chassidim that don't say Tzeitzchem Lesholom, Mekoyach Hai Kashya. But wait a second, don't leave yet. The Shiur is not over. Mekoyach Hai Kashya, even though it's taka Kashya and Tzeitzchem Lesholom, the Tosfos Shabbos himself says, even though he brings the Gadol Echad, and he says, I'm maskim to the Gadol Echad, but I want to just quote the Lashon. He says, Ach kosha l'shabish hanuscha, to change, to take away the nusach, hamukubeles biyadenu. We have a Kabbalah. We sing Tzeitzchem Lesholom, mikadmeinu, already from Mikedem, from the olden days, ushekein noyagim, b'chol ha'olam la'amra b'nusach zeh. The minig is in the whole world to say Tzeitzchem Lesholom. So you have a question. It's not a good shayla Tzeitzchem Lesholom. But I hear it's a good kasha. We'll soon see be'ez Hashem a few terutzim. But Mekoyach the kasha, don't change what the minig was and is. And the Chidah as well also brings v'chein nohagu b'chol tvutzos Yisrael. The minig is all around Klal Yisrael loy mazeh ve'in limchik davar with something shenagu b'roiv Yisrael. So they say even though it's a kasha, you don't stop saying it. So what's Takad Pshat? What's Takad Pshat? Why we say Tzeitzchem Lesholom? Why? How can we say Tzeitzchem Lesholom? We send the Aleichem away? So the Machzas HaShekel explains that Tzeitzchem Lesholom, we're not sending the Aleichem away now. Just like the Pasuk says, Baruch Ato b'vayecha, Baruch Ato b'tzeisecha, which means when you leave, Tzeitzchem Lesholom, we're telling the Malachim, when the Malachim leave, Tzeitzchem Lesholom. The Chidah goes along this, of, we're not sending them away now, when they leave Tzeitzchem Lesholom. In other words, when we say Tzeitzchem Lesholom, we're not sending the Malachim away now. Zok the Chidah, he has a little bit, a different nusach in Tzeitzchem Lesholom. It's B'Tzeitzchem Lesholom. B'Tzeitzchem Lesholom. The Tver Shloime, the Radomske, throughout a sefer, whenever he speaks about Sholom Aleichem, he had the nusach, he writes B'Tzeitzchem Lesholom. So he says, it's going on the Berchuni. The piece before Berchuni, the Malachim Shebenchas, B'Tzeitzchem, when you leave, Berchuni, but they're not leaving now. We're not sending them. Whenever they go, they go. U'b'hoisafa to this, the Shari Tshuva brings the Chidah, that we don't know when the Malachim are leaving. We don't, be'etzim, if we would know, maybe we would sing Tzeitzchem Lesholom when we know they go. If they let's say they go Shabbos morning after the Suda, so at the end of the Suda we would say Tzeitzchem Lesholom, but we don't know. It's negated. The Poskim speak about it, about keeping the house clean Friday night with the Suda, because the Shaila is Pashtas, the Shaila about that is if the Malachim are still there. We don't know when the Malachim leave, so Tzeitzchem Lesholom is when they leave. But we're not Tzeitzchem Lesholom, we're not sending them away now. When the Malachim go, Tzeitzchem Lesholom, Baruch Ato b'tzeisecha. When you leave, benchas. Another teretz is brought in the Shem Mishimin, and he says, Tzeitzchem Lesholom is referring to the Malach Ra. We said, the Gemara says, the Malachim, when we're welcoming the Malachim, it's what the Gemara says, the two Malachim that walk with us, Malach Tov Malach Ra, and because our house is taka prepared, we have the Shabbos candles burning, the house is prepared for Shabbos, so we're singing Tzeitzchem Lesholom, we're sending away the Malach Ra. The Malach Tov stays, the Malach Ra, Tzeitzchem Lesholom.
Is that the whole preparation that you need? Meaning, let's say someone has the candles, but the table's not set.
So the Gemara says also the table to be set. To what extent does it have to be set? These different levels. That's being ma'orer good. You have to learn up the Gemara properly.
It only works if someone's actually prepared.
You're right. So we hope usually the people that sing Shalom Aleichem, at least they have the candles burning. I mean, v'shulchan aruch. So aruch means till everything ad hasoif. You have to know, is it madregas or it's mamash ma'akav? What the Gemara says, how much is aruch? But I'll upon him. Tzeitzchem l'shalom for the Malachei. Sure, he explains. Tzeitzchem l'sham b'loshen Rabbi. The Malachei is only one malach. He says every malach comes with a lot of malachim, but I'll upon him. That's the Tzeitzchem l'shalom. There's another pshat to explain the Tzeitzchem l'shalom, and with this it connects to this week's parsha. The Shiur, the Inyan is a nice Inyan, even if it doesn't connect to the parsha, but it's connected to the parsha. The Sfasemis, the Avnei Nezer, his son, the Shem Yishmu, brings from his father, the Avnei Nezer, and the Chavetz Chaim, it's brought b'Shem the Chavetz Chaim, this teretz. Everyone says it a little bit different, but the same idea. Just like in this week's parsha, we find in the beginning of the parsha, Parshas Vayetze, V'hinei Malachei Aleichem Oilim V'yordim Boi. What Malachim are we talking about? These Malachei Eretz Yisrael and Malachei Chutz La'aretz. Malachei Eretz Yisrael Oilim. And now when Yaakov Avinu was going to Chutz La'aretz, Malachei Chutz La'aretz were coming down to be Malavim into Chutz La'aretz. So they say, just like these Malachim, these different Malachim in different places, these Malachim in for Eretz Yisrael, these Malachim for Chutz La'aretz, just like these different Malachim for different places, so too these different Malachim for different times. For different times. These Malachim for Kollel, and these Malachim for Shabbos. So Mamela, Sholom Aleichem were welcoming the Malachim of Shabbos. Tzeitzchem Lesholom was sending away the Malachim of Kollel. Good. So this is another teretz on the Tzeitzchem Lesholom, where we just said Shalom Aleichem, we're sending away the Malachim already. Teretz is no, we're sending off the Malachim of Kollel. You're going to ask me, in this week's parsha, this is Vasemis speaks out. You're going to ask me this week's parsha, Malachei Aleichem Oilim V'yordim. What happened? First, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael left, and then the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz came. And here, seemingly Friday night, there's an overlap. The Malachim, first, Shalom Aleichem, we welcome the Shabbos Malachim, and then we send away the Malachei Chol. There's an overlap. L'chayra, based off this week's parasha, the way you see that the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael left, and then came the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz, so l'chayra, we should start with Tzeitzchem L'Shalom, sending away the Malachim of Kollel, and then welcoming the Malachim of Shabbos. So he says, you take a look at the end of the parasha. The end of the parasha, when Yaakov Avinu was leaving Chutz La'aretz, coming back to Eretz Yisrael, the pasuk says Machanoyim, and Rashi explains what's Machanoyim. There were two sets of Malachim over there, the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz and the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael. So why is it in the beginning of the parasha there was no overlap, and at the end of the parasha Machanoyim, the both sets of Malachim were there, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael and the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz? Says the Sfasemis that the more heilige Malachim, they always go first, and following to them go the second set of Malachim. They always, whatever they're doing, they do first. When Yaakov Avinu was leaving to Chutz La'aretz, so there was going to be a change of the guards. Malachim of Eretz Yisrael that are more Makudish, they go first. So leaving to Chutz La'aretz, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael, they leave, and he's talking in between, there was no Malachim, and then the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz come. When Yaakov Avinu was coming to Eretz Yisrael, over there, again, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael come first. So before the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz leave, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael come. So therefore, in the beginning of the parasha, there was no overlap, and the opposite, there was like a split set, there was an in-between where there was no Malachim. The Malachim of Eretz Yisrael left. when Yaakov Avinu was returning to Eretz Yisrael, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael were coming, and then the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz left. The Meila in Yoneinu, what was speaking about Sholom Aleichem, the Malachim of Shabbos are more Mekudesh. So first, the Malachim of Shabbos come. Like Taka the Gemara says, they malav us into the house. After the Malachim of Shabbos come and we sing Sholom Aleichem, we welcome them, then the Malachim of Kollel leave Tzeitzchem Lesholom. So this is another pshat in Tzeitzchem Lesholom. What's Tzeitzchem Lesholom? We're sending the Malachim away? The Teretz says yes, we're sending off the Malachim of Kollel. Along these lines, bedoimet to what we said, is also before in the Sefer Kollel Teferes, the Rabbi of the first Scheiner Rebbe, who was Rav in the city of Yas, he says the same Yesod, and he says, in the middle, we say Barchuni. The Malachim Shebenshas, Barchuni. So he says, we welcome the Shabbos Malachim. When we have both sets of Malachim, to both of the Malachim Barchuni. After the Malachim Benshas, even the Shel Choil, then we say Tzeitzchem Lesholom. In Tver Shloima, he says, also along these lines, but already a little bit different. But this teretz that we just said now is really based off the Yesod, the concept of what we see in the Parsha, Malachim of Eretz Yisrael, Malachim of Chutz La'aretz, so too Malachim of Kollel, Malachim of Shabbos. The Tver Shloima goes along these lines, but with a bit of a different idea. He says that this is Mavur. That's clear that when a person does a mitzvah, he creates a malach. It's opposite Rahman al as well also, but if a person does a mitzvah, he creates a malach. However, he brings, I think, from a Zohar that Lamaisa, the Malach, is not Muslim yet, till Shabbos. There's still something missing to the Hashlama of the Malach. And therefore, the Malachim have to wait till Shabbos comes, that they should be Muslim, and then they could go wherever they have to go. Memela, Sholom Aleichem, welcoming these Malachim, these Malachei Choil, but need to wait till Shabbos to be Muslim, and then Tzeitzchem Lesholom. Once they have that Shlom, we're sending them off. We're not sending them off, but we're sending them off because they were only ki'ilu waiting around for Shabbos Kodesh to have that Shloma. Once these are Shloma, they're Muslim, then Tzeitzchem Lesholom, they could go. Lastly, this is the last teretz on Tzeitzchem Lesholom. Reb Shimshon Pincus says the following, and after I saw Reb Shimshon Pincus how he brings it out, I saw in the Shemesh Shmuel in a different piece. He says it more b'kitzer, but then once you understand the idea from Shimshon Pincus, he says like this. We're learning now Masechtas Yuma. The pasuk says in Parshas Achrei, "V'chol Adam lo yiyeh ba'oil moed b'voyoy." When the kohen comes, l'chaper b'kodesh atzeisai. Yeah, it's a discussion. Is it in the kodesh? Shaila in the Rishonim, but clearly the pasuk says that when the kohen does the avodah, nobody else can be there. And the Medrash says, "V'chol Adam le'yiyeh ba'oil moed." The Medrash says a malach as well also. Nobody can be there. What's the pshat? Why? Why can no one be there, even a malach? The teretz is because since it's a time of yichud, connection, I want to call it intimacy, the kohen with the Rabbeinu Shalom, nobody else can be there. Nobody else can be there, even a malach. No one else can be there. Zokt Reb Shimshon Pincus, we're coming home Friday night. We're going to sit down to eat the Sudas Shabbos Kodesh in the Zmiris from the Arizal, Sudasa da Tika Kadisha, the Suda of Shabbos Kodesh. This Kodesh. It's an Avodah. Just like the Kohen in the Beis HaMikdash, when he did the Avodah, there was a connection with the Rabbeinu Sholom. Nobody was able to be there, not even a Malach. So too, by the Avodah of the Shabbos Suda, also nobody else could be there. So Mamela, the question was sending the Malach away? The Teretz says yes. The Malach Taka came home with us, Malava the Malachim. And the Taka come to the house, and the Taka Barchuni, they bench us. But then afterwards, before the Suda, we send them home. We send them. Because Lamaisa, now we're going into the Suda Shabbos Kodesh. Bedoima to this concept, but a little bit different, they bring from the Tzeitzchem Rebbe. It doesn't say which one. If it's the second one, his yard site is this coming Wednesday, Yud Gimel Kislev. He says, I just want to say on the note of this Reb Shimshon Pincus, you see the concept already in the Aleichem says in Parshas Kisisa that the Malachim are not going to be with us in Olam Haba, because it's also the same idea. It's going to be a yichud with Klal Yisrael and the Rabbeinu Shalom. They're going to be behind us. They're going to be asking us what's going on. But this idea, Pshat, is a concept of yichud that even a malach can't be there. B'doim elazeh, the Tzeitzchem Rebbe says that because Kol ha'omer vayichulu na'aseh shutef ma'kadosh baruch hu, which a malach can't get to that madrega of being a shutef with the Rabbeinu Shalom, Klal Yisrael could. So b'meila we send the malachim out before Kiddush, not to be goyim kina. So Atkan, and this is be'ikah the most of the Shiur, Atkan is to explain the last piece that says Tzeitzchem Lesholom. Just for a brief moment, we'll move back one piece. Barchuni Lesholom. Barchuni Lesholom, we're asking the Malachim to bench us. In Keser Rosh, he brings that the Goyen didn't say Barchuni Lesholom. Why? Because you're not allowed to ask a Malach to bench you. Just like Machnise Rachmim, it's a whole discussion. I think we once spoke about it over here. The Chassam Sofer didn't say Barchuni Lesholom. I didn't say Machnise Rachmim, though Bitzina. Meaning to say, is he didn't make a whole clap on the bima that he didn't say it. The Kehila said it, but he kind of like Tachnan took longer and he just didn't get to it. But he didn't say it because Machnise Rachmim, how do you ask Malachim to bench you? So the Mela says the Keser Rosh brings that the Goyen didn't say it because Barchuni Lesholom, you're asking the Malachim to bench you. You're not allowed to ask a Malach to bench you. However, in Isha Yisrael brings that it's a toyus. The one who was made that the Goyen didn't say it, it's a toyus. Avadi did say it. You're not supposed to ask a Malach to daven for you, to bench you. So he says, Barchuni Lesholom is just referring back to the Gemara. The Gemara says, the Malachim come. Sholom Aleichem, we welcome the Malachim, but the Gemara says that the Malachim will malav us into our house. And the Gemara says that the Malach benches us, the Malachim. So Barchuni, we're not asking the Malachim to give us a bracha to daven for us. Barchuni, this you came on a shlichus. The Rabbi Shalom sent you to our house to check out if we're prepared. And the Gemara says that the Malach benches us. So look, our house, we have the Shabbos, the Neirus are lit. We're prepared. Barchuni, the bracha that we're supposed to get. So Mela, you could say it. And you say it. Lastly, on the whole entire Sholom Aleichem, the whole Zemer, like we began, that it's sang by almost all of Klal Yisrael. Interesting, it's brought that the minig Chassam Sofer was not to sing Sholom Aleichem, though it's not 100% clear, if I understand correctly, Some of the Talmidim were made that he didn't. There's a Talmud that said that Taka didn't say it loud, but he said it quietly. What's the pshat that the Chassam Sofer didn't say Sholom Aleichem? The Gemara says in Brachas, we learned here Brachas in the past, when a person goes into Beis HaKisa, he should say, Chabdu mechubadim. In other words, these malachim that go around with us and watch us, when a person goes into the bathroom, Zok the Gemara, you tell the malachim, wait outside, I'm going into the bathroom, I'm coming out, then you'll continue to watch us. That's what the Gemara says. The Shulchan Aruch brings this. The Shulchan Aruch in Siman Gimel, Kishayichnas LaBeis HaKisei Yoymar, you should say this. However, the Shulchan Aruch says, V'achshav lo'inagu l'amrei. Now, l'maisa minig is not to say it. Not to say it. Why not? Says the Mishnah Berurah over there, because einanu machzikim l'yirei shamayim. We don't hold ourselves like yirei shamayim, that malachim go around with us. We're not so, we don't, at least we don't talk like that. Or like, you're telling the malachim, wait a second, we're going into the bathroom. We don't hold ourselves on the madrega that the malachim go around with us. Atkan, memela. So you don't say it. Al pi this, the Maram Shik brings, others bring, that Taka the Chassam Sofer didn't say it. Why? Because Sholom Aleichem einanu machzikim b'malachim. So maybe you don't say it, just like you don't say, you don't tell the malachim when you go into the bathroom to wait, because einanu machzikim malachim. Here also einanu machzikim malachim. L'maisa, what's Taka the Yishuv? If in Siman Gimel the Shulchan Aruch says you don't say Skavdu Mechubadim, because we don't hold ourselves that the malachim come around with us. So why Sholom Aleichem? We're welcoming the malachim. Einanu machzikim b'malachim. Says the Ben Ish Chai in the Sefer Oid Yosef Chai in this week's parsha. He says that the malachim are not coming for us; they're coming for Kedusha Shabbos, for the cover of the mitzvah of Kiddush, not for us. Though, as we said, it could be Tzeitzchem Lesholom. One of the terutzim is we already send those malachim before Kiddush. We saw other terutzim, but he says it's not if the malachim come for us, and then enchanami einanu machzikim b'malachim, but they're not coming for us. So maybe you're going to ask me, a Friday night, if somebody goes to the bathroom on the way home from shul, here malachim are coming with us, maybe you should say it. Dr. Yosef Chaim Zonefeld, that don't worry, the malachim know what to do. So you don't say it. I'm saying it's negay of this Siman and Shulchan Aruch, even though einanu noyigim came, maybe it should be negay over here. He says no worry, they know how to, they're on a mission, they know how to work it, when to come, where to go. But al koponim, the whole Shalom Aleichem, Pashtus, I mean Roiv Klal Yisrael says it, and we explained because Taka Api the Gemara. The Iker we behandled today in the Shiur was the Tzeitzchem Lesholom, to explain you're sending away the malachim right away. Either we said it's Malachei, or we're not sending them away now. It's really whenever they leave. Have a wonderful Shabbos.